Hello everyone, it's Leo, and it's finally to talk about Wonderful PreCure, the movie, something I was very excited to watch. First, to see my queen, Cure Butterfly, once again. And second, because this is one of the highest hits, highest grossing PreCure movies ever. This is the second highest grossing PreCure movie in terms of box office, only behind All Stars F. So I really wanted to see why this movie was such a big hit. And I feel like after watching it, I really understand why it was this thunderous success. So I want to divide this video in certain parts and talk about certain aspects of Wonderful differently. So let's start with the story. One of the things that I think that this movie really succeeded in was to capture the essence of Wonderful PreCure in the story of the characters and the video game and the tanukis and the girl who created the video game and everything. This story, I don't think it was like very touching. It was very cute, but I feel like it really captured the essence of Wonderful PreCure while also giving it a little twist. I feel like Wonderful deals mostly with the relationship between humans and animals, but mostly between humans and their pets, the pets and their owners. This time we're not talking exactly about that, but also a relationship between a human and an animal that ended up creating a big situation. So we have this little girl who became friends with a little tanuki that she found. And every day after school, she went to where this tanuki was and she shared all of the things that she liked and her daily life. And she, kept talking to this tanuki and they kept on bonding over those moments. This little girl was someone who was not very open. She had a hard time making friends at school. She always kept it to herself, but she was able to open up for this tanuki. And what happened was that she promised this tanuki that she was going to always visit them. But what happened was that when that place that the tanuki lived became a construction site, she never saw that tanuki again. She used her dear fond memories of this special animal to her and created a video game. She created a code, and in this code, she put everything that she remembered from this tanuki and her feelings towards it as well. And it ended up getting its own life and becoming the quote unquote villain of this movie. What happened was that this artificial creation ended up having its own conscience, and because there was this game that was a huge hit in Animal Town and in other places of Japan as well, as we could see, it gathered people and it wanted to bring inside the game humans who had very good relationships with their pets to stay there forever. This tanuki wanted that feeling of having someone, of having a friend. And so that's why they capture both Iroha and Mayu. But what was missing for this tanuki is this dear feeling that was missing within this code. Forgot that there's also the animal side of things. So in the movie, we also have Komugi, Yuki, and Daifuku now as well, going after and saving their owners that they love so much. And this creature, this artificial code, was able to get out of the game and meet the little girl who grew up and created the game itself. And Natsuki, I think that's her name, Natsuki was able to bond one last moment with her so-loved tanuki, or at least the artificial creation that was based on her loved tanuki. And this artificial creation had the same feelings. And she was able to remember and also kind of forgive herself It was not her fault that she was not able to see the tanuki every single day. She was there, but the tanuki wasn't anymore. And I feel like here we have a little deviation from the Wonderful style of things. In Wonderful, we have a strong bond between animals and humans, but the animals in Wonderful, they are more sentient than regular animals. Even when they don't talk, they have this bond they have with humans and this friendship that they have with humans make them a little bit more human as well. And this tanuki, it did really feel like a tanuki. It did really feel like an animal who was just around when Natsuki was sharing her things, sharing her personal stuff. And this doesn't take away from the magic, from the feelings, and from all of the powerfulness of the moments in which she realized that she wasn't to blame, that she realized that her friendship and all of the feelings that she shared with the tanuki were real, and that tanuki understood her feelings. All of that code that she created was able to show her that. Obviously, with the help of some very special friends, especially Komugi, who was the star of this movie for sure, along with another character that I'm going to talk about later. So I feel like the story of this film is really, really good. It's very simple, but I really liked the pacing on how the story was introduced to us, the viewers. We had Natsuki appearing in certain moments of the movie and sharing bits of what happened. And then at the end, she had her meeting with that big creature that was like a wolf-like creature, not really a tanuki, but still was the tanuki that she loved so much. And really like the story. As I said, it feels very Wonderful PreCure, but with some twists to make it a little special for a movie. Very, very good. So I find that the story is one of the strongest points of the movie, but I don't think that's how the success of this movie is explained. Now let's go to the second part of Wonderful, which is something that I want to discuss personally, which is the gaming section. So what happens in this movie is that the characters are sucked inside the game. And when they are inside the game, we have both Komugi, Yuki, and then later Daifuku in a very bizarre form. I find those forms of the animals really bizarre when they're standing in their own 2 feet. Really, really weird. But I find it special because, as I said, it's a movie, so they had to change certain things. And they need to make it a little special and not really feel like a regular episode of Wonderful PreCure. So I like the change. I mean, I like the idea of the change. I don't like them standing up like that, though. It really looks bizarre. But it didn't really bother me at all when I was watching. Like, after you watch a couple minutes of the bizarreness, you get used to it. But that's where the movie lost me a little bit, because the section in which the characters are inside the game is really big. And they spent a lot of time in there. But I feel like that is also one of the explanations for the success of this movie. That part, for me, wasn't very exciting. I wasn't very excited watching Komugi play games, Yuki play games. There was also a scene in which both of them got like special balls and they transformed into Cure Wonderful and Cure Nyami. They even did Cure Black and Cure White poses. That was very cool. And, they played around a little bit. I didn't really enjoy that. Being very honest, I didn't really enjoy that. But I can totally understand kids loving those sections. Absolutely loving those sections because they feel fun. Maybe to a younger audience, they feel fun. I can understand that it's fun for a younger audience, especially when it's like a gaming section and it just feels like a big, huge, super fun party game. That was cool. The dance section, I feel like, it was longer than what I would want it to be. But it was fun when Yuki joined like a diva to help Komugi. That was exciting as well. And it was also exciting that they used both endings of Wonderful in those gaming sections. Very nice that they're using the wonderful BGM here, the wonderful songs. And also there are also news. There's also at least one new song at the end. Is there more than one? I don't remember, but the ending song is a new one, is a movie original, and it's really good as well. Happy Future, if I'm not mistaken. A very good song. And as I said, I feel like the gaming section is a little longer than it should. There are some fun moments, I will say that, especially when they showcase scenes of both Hirogaru Sky PreCure and Mahotsukai PreCure, both teams playing in the game, and we see that Agaha created a Tsubasa-like character, the Burb, and Mirai created a Mofurun-like character. That was very fun. And I have to say something. I said that the star of this movie to me was Komugi, and I still think she is, and I'm gonna get there. But there is another star of this movie. And now I have to talk about my favorite scene. And look, I know that I have just said that I didn't really enjoy the gaming section. But my favorite part of the movie is inside the gaming section. It is not a Cure Butterfly scene, although almost, but it was not. My favorite moment of this movie, I know you can call me a hypocrite, I don't care, I am a Gemini, so I have conflicting opinions and conflicting selves inside myself. And my favorite moment was when they were at the end, that was the last game that they needed to play, and they needed to win against the big villain, Mujina, if I'm not mistaken. And what do the Mahotsukai PreCure team do? They use magic to help them. But only Mofurun gets in. And Mofurun is the other star of this movie. Mofurun was able to shine so much. So it was so beautiful. Oh my god, Mofurun using Cura Purapapa and making them win that battle. That was, to me, the best scene of Wonderful PreCure the movie. I am not going to lie. I was like, girl, Mofurun always gets it. Mofurun always wins. It's impossible to stop the powerful force that is Mofurun. I loved that scene so much. You guys have no idea. And Mofurun isn't even one of my favorites, but I just love it. Mofurun just keeps on capturing my heart with this, with Mirai Days. I love it. And that scene was everything. And then we keep on having other moments until they escape the gaming world. And the last part of it was also a drag to me, especially when we have the characters already as cures. We have the 4 girls turned into their cure selves. I really like their chibi forms as cures. It's very pretty. And Daifuku was also there. They were running away. They were jumping. And that's what Wonderful does. That's what the Wonderful PreCures do a lot in the show. But they were doing it. They were doing it all the time. And they only used one kidnapping animal, which was the kitsune. And that was fun. I'm not going to lie. But there were so many opportunities for them to use other kidnapping animals in that moment. And I feel like this was so missed because I felt that it dragged. I felt that that scene was unnecessarily long, and the way they were trying to escape, and they were like, there were always obstacles, and they could have used the kidnapping animals. They didn't. They only used one. I understand that there was a reasoning for those scenes to be there, especially for them to notice that Mujina was trying his best for them not to escape. And that meant that he had something inside of him. He had strong feelings inside of him. I understand that. I just don't like the execution. So, talking about the game world, I feel like I wrapped it up. And now let's talk about another thing that I found very, very good, which is character relationships. When we look at Wonderful PreCure as a season, the highest point of wonderful to me is them as humans and as animals. So the relationship between Komugi and Iroha, and the relationship between Mayu and Yuki. Here, the movie has a huge focus on Komugi and Iroha, and I found that really good because it was really good. We have Mayu and Yuki as well. I feel like Mayu and Yuki, they were overshadowed a bit, but they were still there. And there was also Satoru and Daifuku. Lots of lovely scenes between Satoru and Daifuku before Daifuku got the ability to speak, which was really cool. And when Daifuku appeared speaking for the first time, I almost screamed. I love his voice. We already heard his voice in the series for a very brief scene, but in the movie we could hear it more. I love his voice. I don't think it fits, but I think it fits. I don't know if that makes sense, but when I look at Daifuku, I don't imagine that voice, but I like that he has that voice. I like that they went very deep onto his voice here. They chose the perfect voice actor to do Daifuku. If it was me casting, I wouldn't choose that voice for him. And that's why I'm not a caster. But, I love this choice. Love it. It was so good. And I also liked that they went deeper into the relationship between Satoru and Daifuku. And I really liked that scene when they were able to make a wish. And Daifuku made a wish. Because, they were wishing to go out of the game. But at the end of the day, Daifuku made a wish. Like, he was thinking out loud, and they fulfilled his wish. And even though they thought that the game did not have power to fulfill that wish was fulfilled. It just didn't seem powerful enough at that time, but it ended up working very well. But here is where I believe the movie shines again. We have a moment in which they are trying to escape the gaming world, and Komugi gets sent to a place that was not finished in the game. So she was basically trapped there. And although I believe that scene was long, just like the whole section in the gaming world, that scene was long, I was able to connect with that scene a lot. And look, I really don't think that scene brought something new to Komugi's and Iroha's relationship. Technically, it did, because Komugi said certain things that she never said before, like she wants to grow old with Iroha. She wants both her and Iroha to be grandmas together. And look, I'm not talking about if that's possible or not. I don't feel like that was the intention of Wonderful PreCure. But what matters there is the fact that their bond is so strong that it was able to win against a bug in the game and reconnect both of them. And that is just a way of the plot saying Komugi's and Iroha's bond is the strongest, and nothing can make them apart. Nothing can take them apart from each other. Their bond is the strongest bond. And I really like that. And I feel like that is redundant. If you watch Wonderful PreCure, that appears in Wonderful PreCure a lot of times. But here is the magic of Wonderful. Redundant is not really usually a positive word. And I want to use it here because I think it was redundant, but I think it was good. I think it was powerful. I feel like that was something that Wonderful was able to do, and it's always able to do. And even though it might be repetitive, because of the bond that they have, because of the relationship that they have, you don't care that it's repetitive. You do not care if they are doing it over and over again. At least I don't care. I like it the way it is. And the way they keep on doing it in the series, and they did it again in the movie, for me, it was a good part because I really, really like the relationship between Komugi and Iroha. I really liked their bond. And even though I'm a bigger cat duo fan, I'm more of a Wonderful PreCure type of person, I do think Komugi and Iroha, they are the stars. They are like their bond works better for this type of scene. And really, really incredible. I really like it. And it's very powerful and it's very wonderful PreCure at its core. And again, I feel like that is another thing that made this movie so successful, because the bond between Iroha and Komugi is something that we want to see every single time. We want to see them together. We want to see them fighting to be together. We like it. And doesn't matter if it's redundant, if it's repetitive, we like it. I like it, at least. And I feel like most of us who like Wonderful, who have enjoyed Wonderful, like it. And that is the essence of Wonderful PreCure. So to me, it was really incredible. And the last thing I want to talk about in this video, is it the last? I think it is. The PreCure part of everything. The movie starts with a very weird scene of the girls transformed searching for something, and they were searching for a tanuki-shaped ball, and they were going after it. And look, that starting scene was very Wonderful PreCure style of action. I don't like it, and I didn't like that scene either. They were just chasing it around, and they used the Eternal Kizuna shower in the thingy, and it did not work because, well, it's not an animal that was turned into a Gaogaon or a Garugaru, and so they simply nothing happens, and then the tanuki becomes two other tanukis, and then we get all of the plot of the movie. After that, we have some action scenes inside the gaming world. I also don't like them. But then we have the addition of other cures, because what happens is that Wonderful PreCure is inside the game, except for Satoru. I mean, Satoru, can we consider Satoru part of the Wonderful PreCure team? I kind of do consider him part of it. And so we have Hirogaru Sky PreCure playing the game and Mahotsukai PreCure playing the game. They see the girls transforming into cures while they're playing it, and they go and they see basically everything that's happening, and they go to help them. And so we have the Hirogaru Sky team being assembled first, and then we have the Mahotsukai team being assembled second. I feel like they were very smart in adding those two teams. Hirogaru because it was the most recent, Maho because it's getting Mirai Days. Very smart, and I like those additions very much, and I was very excited to see Hirogaru Sky PreCure again. I love Hirogaru Sky, and my Queen Butterfly was there, so obviously I was happy. Really, really liked the action scenes. Again, they were also very smart with the action scenes. They cannot fight in Wonderful. There is no sense for them to fight in Wonderful. But here, it was okay because they were not fighting actual animals. They were fighting energies that came out of the big wolf creature that Mujina turned into. They could fight those wolf-like thingies. And the Wonderful team did not have to fight because they were running after the wolf. And so I feel like this is something I have to praise, because I don't feel like the PreCure teams that are choreographing battles are always, they always make good choices. But here, the choice was really, really good. And I loved the choice here. And so they just jumped and went full force with the action. Very fast, yes. I wish there was more. But still very good. I really like how they went with the combat. We had a little bit of Hirogaru first, and then we had a little bit of Maho, and then we had the crossovers. Unfortunately, there wasn't really a crossover with Butterfly. Butterfly just fought with Wing. I mean, they are their duos. But then we had the first iconic duo from Hirogaru and the duo from Maho. And we had Sky and Prism and Miracle and Magical fighting together. I loved that moment. And we also have like the special warrior, the fairy that becomes a cure. We have one in each team, Majesty and Felice. I love both of them. And they both fought together. And I love Majesty's Hour End. Girl, I love that attack so much. And I was so happy that she used it in the movie, because she used it very few times in the show. And I love it. I love that move so much. And it was so much fun. And, as I said, the battle was fast, but I really like how it all played out. It was very cool. And in the battle, we also have the addition of special warriors. A warrior, or I don't know, Black Pepper Daifuku and Black Pepper Satoru. I don't know how to call them. And the scene that they were able to transform was really fast. I wish there was a little bit more build up to that, but it was still pretty. I like how they created this ribbon thing around the wolf, and Wing was there to save the guy, the little guy that was gonna be a victim of the wolf. And it was nice seeing the boys and the orange color for the boys there. Very orange, even though Wing is the only actual cure there. I don't feel like it's very important. Very unfortunate that Satoru and Daifuku did not have more moments together. It was really nice when we were able to see both of them interacting and talking to each other, because we see Satoru interacting with Daifuku, and Daifuku interact with Satoru in its own way as a rabbit. But here, by it being able to speak, it was really nice. I really liked it. And another downside of the fighting scene to me, of the action scene, was the last part. So they get a special key. The wonderful PreCure team gets a special key, and they use a special key. But the move is exactly the same as Eternal Kizuno Shower, which was already in the movie before. And now it just gets repeated with another name. It is exactly the same move. It just has another name because it is another key that they insert in Nico's house. That's it. And by the way, Nico not being in the movie was a slander. Nico was in the movie right at the start. She appears, but that was it. Honey, even Mei had a participation. Nico deserved to be part of this. Nico deserved to be part of this. And it was so disappointing. I am not going to lie. That was very disappointing. I was expecting to see something different for their final move in the movie, because it is a different key. I knew that they were not going to get another power up, but I wish the move was different. I really, really wish. I did not like that. And at the end of the movie, we have some funny scenes of them showing that they are animals, like Komugi and Yuki and Daifuku showing their animals. Even Tsubasa shows that he's an animal. Oh my god, that was so cute. They were showing Natsuki, and they were inviting Natsuki to be in Animal Town. And at the end, in the credits, we see her going. And we see lots of shots of all of the teams together in Animal Town. I really like that. That felt so special. That felt so cute. And I love the background music that plays in that scene. And at the end, we see Natsuki meeting a tanuki. 3 tanukis, actually. Are those the tanukis from the game? I mean, they're not necessarily the ones from the game, because from the game, they're just data. Is it the tanuki that she was friends with when she was younger? Is it a new tanuki only? We will never know. But it was a nice, moment there. I really like it. And so I feel like my last considerations about this movie are that there were some things I did not enjoy about it. But overall, I feel like the good makes it up for the bad, because it really makes it up, because the good is really, really good. Even though the bad things are bad. I still do not get over the fact that the new key just gives them the same power. I will never get over this. I will never get over this. And I also feel like they could have made Wonderful feel a little bit more special. The Wonderful team as Cures feel a little bit more special. But that is something I feel that the show itself did not try to do either. So I don't think that's the point at all. I feel like the most special thing about them is them as humans, as animals. And as Cures, it's just something to make them a little bit more special, but it's just a plus, That's how I feel about Wonderful as a whole. And I feel like the movie made it even stronger to me. But as I said, even with the downs, I still feel like this was very solid, very strong, very good movie. And I feel like this just made me like Komugi and Iroha's relationship even more. Anyways, babies, this was my view on Wonderful PreCure, the movie. Please leave a comment with yours. Let's keep talking about it in the comment box. Anyways, babes, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. Oh, and another thing. I want to thank Serenai, I don't know how to pronounce that name, for subbing the movie for us. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the subs. And I want to thank the members here on YouTube. Thank you so much for being a member. Thank you for all the support here on YouTube, on Patreon, on Throne. Thank you. And if you've watched the episode, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.